In this video, for all of you in the UK looking for a proper TRT clinic to go to, this is the video for you to watch. Hey guys, welcome back to the Danny Bossa podcast. I am joined today with Tom Fallows-Baker and Sam Cook from the Mojo Clinic in the UK. And I was saying in the intro, for all of you guys in the UK looking for proper TRT the way you see it done in the US, and you definitely have not been able to find anything close to that in the UK, trust me when I say your prayers have been answered. So Sam, let's start with you. A lot of people have probably recognized you from some of the videos they've seen online. I know you were previously with another clinic, so tell me about how you got involved with Mojo.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, first of all. So, what I, like many in the UK, had a pretty rubbish experience, I think, trying to get help initially on TRT. So, classic going to the NHS, trying to see what they offer there, trying to figure out whether there's someone that could actually help. And then moving on to finding some help privately, I suppose experiencing a number of problems from, I suppose protocols that, I was started on HCG, Proviron, Sustain on every 5 days and a milligram of anastrozole, split twice a week from the off. And then, not really having the support of where do I go with this? How do I change? What variable do I change? All of that anxiety. And then just experiencing, like I'm sure all of us here have seen in the UK, of, guys just feeling like the options, that they have to get treatment, just they're sort of using them reluctantly. They're not what they want in terms of a provider and sort of the experience and the support. There's elements, of every sort of option, around that just don't seem to be worth it for most. So, yeah, Mojo is something that we planned for a long time, and it's been based around essentially what guys in the UK have asked for, and what they're asking for, I don't think is anything crazy out of this world, which is, in terms of not being locked into getting blood tests from a certain place, not having supply issues because there's only one pharmacy available or a couple of pharmacies available, not being, upcharged massively for medications that they have to be on for the rest of their life, and the support that they need, so what we've structured, and we ran it past a number of current guys on TRT, sort of the ideas and the brainstorming. We've come up with what we do. So that's, we've got Tom as well, who's with us at the Mojo Clinic. And it's been fairly popular, so far. And we're helping a lot of guys. That's sort of how it started in a nutshell up until now.
Great. And Tom, how about you?
Yeah, so I've been on TRT myself for about 6 years now. I had to start at the age of 18 because a NHS urologist botched a testicular surgery that I didn't even need, which certainly wasn't ideal. And as you would expect, after procuring a significant degree of testicular damage, my testosterone levels dropped markedly, developed all the symptoms overnight, put 2 and 2 together, went to my GP. They checked my testosterone. It was about 12 nanomole per litre, which is, 350 nanogram per deciliter, but I was told, you're within range, you're fine. But, in my opinion, that's a pretty clear clinical picture of primary testicular surgery, symptoms of low testosterone start after surgery, levels are at 350, 18. To me, that's straightforward, but to the NHS, apparently not. So then I had to go to the private sector, to get treatment because I was convinced that testosterone was my issue. But I unfortunately went through the UK TRT private sector meat grinder, bouncing around all the different clinics. I won't go into too much detail, but one clinic I was with was extraordinarily cheap, but there was absolutely no guidance there, no help with protocols. You're essentially just given a prescription, sent on your way, and you have to figure everything out for yourself, which ends up with you basically living your life on TRT-related forums, many of which offer very, very, very poor advice. Things, high-dose aromatase inhibitors, keeping free T within range even if you're still symptomatic, all that kind of BS. So then, after failing for 2-3 years to get dialed in on my own, following that advice, I went to a more expensive private clinic in the UK with a relatively well-known doctor, spent a lot of money there, still never got dialed in, was messing around with HCG and low-dose daily exemestane and all that kind of BS. And yeah, after all that period, I'd in my 21, 22, 23 now, I'm still feeling awful for years on end, and I just felt I've got to fix this. Nobody's fixing me here in the UK. I've got to fix this myself. So I spent a long time essentially just trying to self-educate, talking to a lot of very well-informed people, one of which being our mutual friend Dave Lee, who helped me enormously. And I eventually did get there. I did get dialed in. But the process that I had to go through to get there was, again, I always say this, I'm not trying to be woe is me or everyone feel bad for me, because I'm doing great now and everyone has their own problems. But it was grim, having to go all through that on your own with no support, and following the advice of doctors who are purported specialists, and still having regular erectile dysfunction in your early 20s as it's certainly not ideal. So yeah, when I did fix myself with the help of Dave and a few other people and my own self-reading, I wanted to go into this sector, as a career, because after I finished my physiology degree, I saw the change it makes when you get it right. And the clinic I went with, for the vast majority of chaps, not all of them, but for the vast majority, it was just they were being charged hundreds of pounds a month for the rest of their life on rolling monthly subscription services for essentially a vial of cypionate, some HCG, and once they're dialed in, a once yearly doctor review. And I didn't feel that the value they were getting there and the negativity that would come in response to that was worth it, and something needs to change, So I had that personal experience as a patient myself and professional with 3 different clinics, and that there was only 1 or 2 others in the field in general, and they'd all been negative, and I just felt like something had to change. If I'm having a bad experience as a patient and a professional, something's not right here. And then I saw what Sam was doing at Mojo, the way in which he was trying to structure things to be much more favourable to the patient. Like it's not businessmen running a TRT clinic, it's people that have been there and done that running a TRT clinic. I wanted to get involved, so me and Sam joined forces, and that's how we came to where we are today.
Awesome. So yeah, daily HCG, a little bit of testosterone and exemestane. I wonder who that could be.
Yeah,
I wonder who that could be. Okay, any of you guys in the UK on tiny little wee bit of testosterone with daily HCG and exemestane, because that's the only thing that this guy knows how to do, please run for your life and go to somebody that knows what the hell they're doing. I got the same issue. I'm in Canada, so I'm telling you guys right now, everyone watching, in the USA, that is where they know how to do this stuff. There is no other place in the world that knows how to do this stuff as well as the US. And I'm not being biased. I'm not American. I'm Canadian. All right. And in Canada, it's almost as bad as it is in the UK. I have a very, very hard time finding doctors. In the US, that's where it's well done. And I've been trying desperately to find places in other parts of the world that do it in the same way that it's done in the US. And it's very, very, very challenging. And after a conversation with these guys, they're about the closest thing I have found. And not only that, unbelievably affordable. So guys, you want to fill them in a little bit about how it is that you're making the service this affordable in comparison to the other clinics, the way they're kind of making their money.
Yeah, so what people come up against in the UK is like, as Tom said, is extortionate prices. So when it comes to medication, you're either paying very high monthly, fees for a service that actually you're really just getting your medication, the support really isn't there that you need, and again it's ongoing for the rest of your life. Or there are places where you pay per item, and you actually get a charge per item that you use, and the more frequent injections you have, it can change the price quite dramatically. Actually, from the cost point of view, it's not really well known that you can get things like Sustanon, an ampule of Sustanon, so it's most commonly used one in the UK, type of testosterone, for like £3.50 from numerous pharmacies, versus sort of what people report, paying like £13 to £15 per per item, but actually not even be able to use the whole item. They have to just use a part of it, and then throw away the rest of the medication. Actually allowing men to, so we allow guys get given their prescription to take their that prescription to any pharmacy they wish, to shop around if they wish. We actually have done a fair bit of work to try and help source like just pharmacy options. They're not associated with us, but we can give them, our guys the information as like a selection of options if they need that as a temporary measure or sort of long term. So in that way, when there's pharmacies all over, the UK that they can utilise, there's also not the issue of if you're choosing a pharmacy or a couple of pharmacies, or if you've got your own pharmacy, you often have to deal with trying to get a supply of a certain level of controlled drug, which can then have, it can essentially lead to sort of delays. If you're trying to hold and control that whole part of the service, that you provide, then it comes with a certain amount of work that actually can end up then having a knock-on effect to patients. And it's not unusual for guys to report that they've had times without medication for reasons of like supply and things like that. So actually having the option to any pharmacy, you can shift and move like you would normally with any other sort of treatment. So in terms of cost saving, really you're just getting access to medication as you should. Blood testing, the blood testing part of our service. Again, we wanted guys to be able to get blood tests as cheap and effectively as possible. So utilizing other services that are already doing that's their specialty, and if they've got sales on and all those sorts of things, they can get them. Obviously we help with what things they need to get if they need help with that, they're not just on their own, but it just allows the patient to have their treatment in a way that doesn't have these disruptions or because this creates anxiety. There's enough sort of stress going through the process in any country, let alone specific ones with their own issues. And then the support, we're really trying to provide the support that guys need throughout, particularly the start of the journey, in the way that they want it. And I think we can all attest to, like, even the initial discussion we had, like how much you naturally now question, is this the right thing? Should I have had this? Because of the doctors, potentially doing the wrong things, historically. So yeah, just having that information, giving back that patient experience. Tom and I and the team have dealt with hundreds and hundreds of guys in the community over the years, so we're quite used to sort of the normal questions, the normal anxieties, that sort of awareness, but also just giving them the information that they need as effectively as possible. And we're very much creating a community as well. So our guys are very much are supportive of each other, to try and help them with questions or like other places they can get medication or what options are available. So I mean, Tom, unless I missed something out there, that's just sort of a summary, sort of how we differ.
Yeah, no.
So this was basically an attempt to mitigate some of the challenges of what the typical TRT patient in the UK was seeing, significantly overpaying for their meds, having to deal with one specific pharmacy so they can't shop around potentially for a better deal, having to deal with ampules that you can only use a portion, you're paying 5 times as much, but you got to throw most of it out anyway. You got very, very poor support. You're maybe forced to deal with only certain specific places for labs. Tom, is there anything other challenges that you are aware of that guys in the UK were having that you said, let's mold our clinic around a certain mindset to make sure that they don't face these challenges with us?
I think that's pretty much it. And the core issue is that the vast majority of clinics in this sector are trying to be everything. They're trying to be the pharmacy. They have their own pharmacies. They're trying to be the blood testing service. They're trying to be the support. And they're trying to be, the doctor advice as well. And the problem with that is they're keeping it all in-house, and then they're marking it up every step of the way. So you're already at a clinic, paying for the support, paying for the doctor, and then the clinic's taking that money, buying testosterone with their own pharmacy, adding up a markup, and then selling it back to you. And there's no value being added there. You could have just been given a private prescription, taken that to a pharmacy that stocks testosterone, and paid the cost price. There's no value there. So I guess what we're trying to do is, the only money that you would ever spend with us is something that you're getting direct value from us for. So the support and experience and expertise of me and Sam with regards to guiding you through the journey, people that have been there and done it, been through all the same issues, and then the expertise of our doctors who will get you dialed in with regards to the protocol, and not doing things like, oh, you know, the range for free testosterone in the UK is 0.2 to 0.62, therefore we can't go above 0.62 to get you dialed in, and chaps are still symptomatic and you get them to a free T of 0.91 and they feel good. And that you know, that's not, that's just one example of many different ways in which protocols can be messed up. But essentially just being the support that chaps need, but then letting them go to letting the blood test companies be the blood testing companies, and letting the pharmacies be the pharmacies, without marking it up at every step. And that way, the value is you know, worthwhile. People don't resent us. People don't feel like they are being ripped off, but don't have any other options, because the only reason that the sector in the UK is the way it is at the moment is because there's no help with the NHS, and for a long time there was a vacuum whereby there was nowhere else for people with these problems to get the meds they need. So they were forced to these private clinics, because there's literally, it's either you stay hypergonadal or you pay £200 a month and start TRT. And yeah, essentially we're trying to change that, because me and Sam have been there as people. We've been through that meat grinder of paying extortionate amounts of money every month to still have essentially all the symptoms of low testosterone years later. So yeah, the idea is that, you know, we're going to address all of those issues while simultaneously providing a service that, from a cost perspective, is significantly cheaper, because we're only offering the guidance. We're not trying to keep everything in-house, and it just kind of works well for all parties involved.
Okay. So you guys are basically focusing on dialing guys in without obsessing about every single number on the piece of paper. Not only that, you're not ripping off your patients, because that's the biggest thing I hear of in the UK is how expensive everything is. And they're like, I'm on this pitiful amount of testosterone with HCG and all this other crap, and I still feel like garbage, and I'm spending money that I can't afford. I don't see the need for anyone to spend money they can't afford to continue to feel like shit. Like that doesn't make sense to me. You spend money to feel better. If you're not feeling better, stop spending the money. So that's so you guys cover all of the UK. Is there anything outside of the UK at all that you can cover, or just for people wondering, like, you know, would they cover this or that?
Yeah. So in terms of it's currently UK, all of UK, you know, we'll be looking to expand soon. So obviously we'll be updating people and trying to get that information out there when we do. Just on a note, sorry, before I forget, on a big part of the another concern was how it like some clinics that have the restrictions on, you know, selling items only, and you end up with actually it then influencing your protocol. So this is a big issue that I had when it sort of dawned on me that the options, you know, you should have are to be able to go frequently, you know, as you need, or infrequently, you know, to try scrotal cream, to have HCG or not. Like, you need all the tools in the toolbox to actually give you the opportunity to get you to where you need to be. And there are, in multiple different examples, you know, and I'm sure, like, you know, Danny could explain more in terms of what he's experienced, you know, feedback from as well. But you've got certain places, literally, I don't know whether it's a commercial, you know, angle on it, but just saying like this type of testosterone ester or type of treatment is the best. This is what everybody is going to have. You know, all my guys have this and this, or variations of this. And that isn't a case of, well, why don't we give you the opportunity? That's starting to be a dictation. And, you know, treatment needs to be like a consent between the doctor and the patient. It's a team effort to actually reach that goal. It can't be, you know, rarely is it successful. At least it needs to be considered. And I believe doctors have a duty to even, you know, actually have that as part of the process. And so if you've got, you know, you really should only use this type because I said so and I think it's awesome, or you can only do this frequency because cost actually is going to cost you so much based on our business structure that you're not able to do that, you know, or if you've got a favor of HCG or not, or something like that, you know, you're then starting to, it is very much an influence outside of, you know, the patient's best interest. You're getting influenced by like commercial factor or ego or something like that. And so that was huge for me, and particularly because it influenced me, you know, starting all the amounts that I had, you know, on the amounts of things that I started on and the frequency of sustanon that I started on. And the majority of people in the UK, it's, I'm sure we'll touch on this another time, but is, they're not using Sustanon in the way that it actually is most effective, but they're being told that is, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to afford it,
Anything else you guys want to add that we have not covered so far?
No, I just think, like Sam said, just to really drill it home, in that with TRT protocols, you can't be dogmatic. You will see people who, like Sam said, they're dialed in on a very specific protocol, putting all their patients on it, and they're using mechanistic theory to justify why a different treatment modality that other people are having good results on does not work, isn't safe, etc., even though there's actually no literature in the scientific body of evidence to suggest that.
Yeah.
And you'll have, like, there was a doctor I was with who I'd followed their advice for a year and a half, closing on 2 years, doing my bloods every 8 weeks, doing the protocol down to a T. Never felt better. And I said, can I please just try the transcurosal cream? A lot of people in America are talking about it. It's doing well. Not only did I get an extremely short, stern, condescending response over email, the next morning I woke up to a video log on their channel, a vlog I should say, basically complaining about patients watching American YouTube channels asking for cream. So as a patient, I've been with this person for years. I still can't get an erection. I've asked them to try something new because what I'm doing isn't working. I've given it over a year. I asked to try cream, and because of their own predetermined ideas about what does or does not work, or what is or is not safe, that isn't based upon evidence, I was told I couldn't do that. And then I was having YouTube videos made about me, and it's just, I then left, tried cream, and guess what? I felt markedly better on the transcurosal cream compared to the protocols I was on before. So in TRT, you can't be dogmatic. You can take 1,000 people, 250 will say cream's the best thing ever, I feel awful on injections. 250 will say I feel awful. Any protocol, you'll get people that respond bad, people that respond great. You've had that yourself, Danny. You've got to be fluid, and we don't understand this stuff. This field is still in its infancy, so you can't be dogmatic because we just don't know enough. So if someone feels better on something else, as long as it's safe, what's the problem? And that's again this idea of chaps being able to go to whatever pharmacy they want. They then have that option to, okay, we've tried everything on injections, bloods look great on paper, let's try the cream, and oh wow, look, they feel better. So that's another really, really important point to drill home, that the bias of practitioners and or the business model of the clinic should not be limiting the modalities that are on offer for people, because it's at the expense of the patient, nothing more.
And those are the clinics and the doctors that are like the horses with the blinders on. On paper, this is the best, therefore this is what I do for all my patients, and it simply does not work that way. And any doctor that wants to claim that, I'm sorry, you are wrong. You are wrong. I don't know how many more times I can say wrong. You take 100 people and every single one of them is going to require a different level, a different frequency. Some might need SIP, some might want better with Sustanon, some might do better with cream, some might do better with a mix. Even myself, I tried the cream. I did a video about this, tried the cream by itself and I was a mess. But just 50 milligrams of cream in the morning, I was like, wow, this stuff is pretty good. And now I'm mixing cream and injections. You have to be a doctor or a clinic that is going to listen to your patient. Take the damn labs, put them aside. How do you feel? Tell me what your symptoms are. Let's see what we can try until we can fix this. And if any doctor is treating you guys, and when I say you guys, I'm talking about the people watching, and you have issues that the doctors are not addressing. And when you say, can we try something else? Because as Tom was saying, I haven't had an erection in 3 years. And the doctor just basically shuts you down. You need to run for your life. You need to get the hell out of there and go to a place that is going to listen to you and is really genuinely wants to fix you and help you. Because if they don't give a shit about you. They're there to take your money, make a profit, and that's it. And these guys are, a perfect example of, we hear these stories constantly of guys just getting ripped off and feeling like crap. And it angers me. It really, really does. So for the guys, for everyone watching this channel, guys, anything you can do for people that reach out to you? Can they perhaps mention my channel, just so you know that they contact you through here? So anything you can do for them?
Yeah, sure. So if you do want to reach out and and contact us, if you mention Danny's name and he's sent you over, we'll organise a discount for you off of the initial fee of the consultation. But just remembering that if you do call us, we do actually provide free of charge informative calls just to give you as much information as you need. Go away with resources, whatever. It's not like once you call us, you're then locked in at all. So don't feel like there's any pressure there at all. But yeah, definitely mention Danny's name and it will look after you.
Awesome. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Appreciate it.